are required. Contact your LA Department of Aging Neighborhood Senior Center for Cool LA Heat Relief for Seniors participation details or visit www.ladwp.com/events.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Talk about Marvin Gaye. It's a matter of so many hits and so little time. So many hits, so little time. We are doing our best to weave in some of the best of Marvin Gaye as we continue celebrating June as Black Music Month. He is our artist of the day. We continue our conversation now with Stacey Spikes, co-founder of the subscription service MoviePass. There is a pretty arresting documentary right now on HBO called MoviePass Movie Crash. One of the producers on this project is some guy named Mark Wahlberg. So it's got some pretty amazing people who are connected to it. But Stacey Spikes, again, is the co-founder of MoviePass, and I want to spend this hour just kind of delving into what actually happened. So for you film buffs, you all know and all recall MoviePass. It's back now, but it was big. It was all that. And everybody wanted a piece of MoviePass. What is this company? What is this subscription service? And again, as I said earlier, when I found out they had Black founding, I was completely blown away. So, Stacey, we got a little time here. Take me back to the beginning. Just tell me how MoviePass came to be anyway.
So, I founded the Urban World Film Festival, and we were trying to figure out a way that we could make the service year-round. And we thought, well, what if we had a subscription service that could bring Black and brown titles to theaters, and the subscribers could support it to going into each of the markets. And as we started to work on the tech, I was at a dinner party, and someone said, oh, you're trying to build Netflix for movie theaters. And I was like, I guess that's what we're trying to do. And a little bit down the road, Hamay Watt, who became my co-founder, he joined the team, and then we were off to the races. And we basically then tried to build the Netflix for movie theaters, and we were able to. And with a $10 million investment within 5 years, we created a company that was valued at around $500 million.
That's a lot of money. I'm just pausing for the valuation. Let's just celebrate the valuation for a second here. So tell me what you intended. I hear the comparison that you referenced that others made when they saw what you were bringing online. But what, as a co-founder, did you intend MoviePass to be?
You know, for me, it was coming from this perspective of Black and brown filmmakers, and I think too, coming from Motown, which was my first business, first place I worked ever in the industry. It was, how can we make movie going simpler, and you don't need the decision fatigue? Where is it playing? What's the reviews? What did my cousin think about it? Should I go? Should I not? How can we just make it simple? And what we found was when you offered someone a subscription, it kind of was an insurance policy that said, well, I paid for it, so I might as well go get my money's worth. And it increased attendance, and we found that minority filmmakers and independent filmmakers were the ones that benefited the most from what we called experimentation. So everyone's going to go see Star Wars and Spider-Man, but those other titles, the ones people were on the fence about that didn't have the big advertising budgets, they were the ones who got the second and third visit in the month. And that's where we wanted to help drive that value to diverse filmmakers and women and the smaller titles. And that was the impact that we had.
Yep. So when you founded this, as I said earlier, I didn't realize it was Black founded early on. Was that a part of the story that I just happened to miss? I feel myself, I'm pretty connected. Was that a part of the story that I missed? Was it a part of the story that y'all didn't push out? Because sometimes, trust me, I know a bunch of black folk who own a lot of stuff, and they don't tell folk they own it because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be diminished. They don't want folk to not try it out because it's black owned. We know that race, as Johnny Cochran said, plays a part of everything in America. So I know a bunch of black folk who just don't want people to know that they own X, Y, or Z. So what was the black founding piece of MoviePass a story that wasn't out there, a story that I missed? Talk to me about that part.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I think from our perspective, we didn't hide it, but we also wanted it to be about the product. And, a lot of times today, the front person is this dynamic figure, and you see this person and they're selling you electric cars or this computer or that new smartphone. For us, I think there was a little bit of, let's kind of keep this general market and make the product as big as possible and not draw unnecessary attention to ourselves. But we didn't hide it either. So I think we just put our heads down and said, if we make a great product, it'll figure itself out. And we really didn't think about it. We wake up and know we're black every day, but we didn't feel like we needed to make that, because the product was not a black product, right? It was a general market product. So we didn't see it as an advantage one way or the other. We just knew it needed to work, and it needed to work well.
Do you think that MoviePass being brought online by Black founding impacts any of what happened thereafter? We're going to talk about the thereafter in a moment, but I'm just curious whether or not you think, again, race or your race played any part of this. And I'm talking now about people trying to jump in it, people trying to exploit you. Any of this connected to race as you see it?
I'd say 100%. A lot of people don't realize in the venture capital world, which is billions of dollars deployed every year, only 3% combined goes to minorities and women. And women make up more men in the U.S. So you'd figure 50% of the money would go to them. But so I say yes, it definitely had an effect. And as you watch the documentary, you will see that you had two very seasoned and experienced founders, and you and I have had conversations, and I represented Boyz II Men, I represented Queen Latifah, I was at Miramax. I was a very accomplished executive, and yet we still had difficulty raising capital. And nobody came out and told us it's the color of your skin. But the idea of what tech founders look like, we're not the first people you would think of.
Tell me then about the VC. Tell me about the money. You mentioned the $10 million. Where'd all this money come from initially?
So the first check came from AOL. AOL had a venture arm. They cut us a check for around $500,000. They liked the idea. They were a subscription company. They understood subscription. They owned MoviePhone at the time, so they they liked where we were going, and they got it. And then there was True Ventures, which Hame was an EIR at the time. EIR is an entrepreneur in residence. Mm-hmm. And what that means is you're an entrepreneur who has some experience. You go inside of a VC firm to add that layer of texture because you are an operator, so you can understand where that founder is coming from, and you add that to the culture of a VC coming into your company. And those were the first 2 checks we got, and that was the beginning of us. Over 5 years, we, in pieces, raised money as we went along, but that was the beginning of the process.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll indulge me on this question. I'm going to go a little deeper now, Stacy Spikes.
Okay.
And ask for your transparency and honesty, which you always give me. In retrospect, as a black entrepreneur, what are your thoughts now about VCs? I ask that, you know why I'm asking. I'm asking in part because I've dealt with VCs in my own entrepreneurial life, and I have my own horror stories, and I know a bunch of Negroes who have horror stories far worse than mine. It is for some people, VCs, venture capitalists, are necessary evils, but everybody has a story, good, bad, or ugly. There are no indifferent stories about venture capitalists once you have to deal with them. So I ask now, what are your views now about VCs?
Look, it used to be if you wanted money, you had to go to a bank and you had to have some form of collateral. You needed, whether it was you yourself or your parents had to put a lien on the house or something. So I think it's wonderful that we have the ability that if you have an idea and you pitch it to a room full of people and they think it has viability, they will cut you a check. You didn't have to do anything. And so that's amazing in this country, because a lot of countries, you don't have that as an option. They don't. And you see a lot of people wanting to work in America because we have that. That being said, when you are taking money from someone, they want the ability to get their money out of that situation, no matter what you may think about it. And so there's a degree of the terms that you end up negotiating between, we're going to leave you alone, just go make money, or if you don't make money and hit these numbers that you said you're going to do, we're going to take over driving the car. Yeah. And that's a negotiation in all points in between.
This story is about to get interesting. I'm just laying the foundation. When we come forward, we're going to get into the good part, as we say around here, because there is a bunch of drama here. You heard it in the trailer I played earlier. Executives were arrested. CEOs were arrested. Folk were found guilty of embezzlement. People sitting in jail, in prison right now, for what happened regarding this company, MoviePass, that Stacy Spikes founded. I can assure you that Stacy Spikes is not one of the persons who was arrested and went to prison, hence our conversation right now. But it's a fascinating story of this company, this subscription service, MoviePass, founded in black. And they get all this money to take off, and then all hell breaks loose. Hence the name of the HBO documentary, Movie Pass, Movie Crash. We've talked about Movie Pass. We'll talk about Movie Crash when we come forward with Stacy Spikes on Tavis Smiley.
Speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Archaeologists at the University of New Hampshire, along with a historian at Northeastern University, say they have unearthed the long-lost homestead of King Pompey. Pompey was an enslaved African who won his freedom, later becoming one of the first black property owners in colonial New England. Researchers have long sought to discover the location of his home. They say they hope to eventually work with the National Park Service to establish a historical marker about King Pompey. Funding was provided by the New England Humanities Consortium and Northeastern University. Tampa, Florida officials won't abandon plans to get state funding for an arts venue. Governor Ron DeSantis vetoed funding for an amphitheater at Perry Harvey Park in the city's Central Avenue Business District. The area is significant for African Americans because it was where many newly freed slaves lived. Tampa State Rep. Diane Hart says she'll file another request for state funding. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Enjoy the rest of your night and please travel home safe. Big alert in San Dimas involving a stalled Vickers remains in two right lanes of the 210 east before San Dimas Avenue. Stop traffic continues from Lone Hill Avenue and overall heavy traffic continues from Grand. In Pomona, accidents been cleared from the 71 south after Holt Avenue and Valley Boulevard split. Highway 138 Avenue D interchange between 60th Street and 72nd Street East remains closed due to the Columbia fire, which has stopped with no evacuations that have been reported and only 300 acres actually burned. And back in Yorba Linda, an accident remains on the right shoulder of the 91 East after Gibson Canyon Road. Overall drive remains heavy over 35 minutes from Framer Boulevard, Glassell Street interchange.
KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It's day 2 of the NBA draft. The number one story in today's second round is which team will select Bronny James. 23 teams will have an opportunity to draft LeBron's son before the Lakers pick comes up at number 55. Will one of those 23 teams feel the need to select Bronny? If Bronny is still on the board at 55, will the Lakers take him to make his father happy? Or will the Lakers pass on Bronny to take a player they feel that can help them right away? Either way, the Lakers will have a lot of questions to answer regarding their decision on Bronny. Round 2 of the draft begins today at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Shohei Ohtani broke the Dodgers record for consecutive games with an RBI. Ohtani homered in the first inning last night against the White Sox in Chicago. The homer gave Ohtani an RBI in 10 straight games. The Angels swept the Oakland A's. The Angels improved to 15-25 at home. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm of Iteris, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got your black.
Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is your chance to get matched with your coolest Z's yet. Save $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattresses with free and fast delivery. All night cooling, all summer long. Discover the difference the right bed makes. Restrictions apply.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
KBLA Talk 1580 is now celebrating 3 years of amplifying our voice and uplifting our community. We deeply appreciate your support of this radio station and will always do our level best to earn your support. Here's to many more years of loving and serving our community. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
I know it's gonna happen without you.
Have you been a victim or witness to hate or discrimination? Contact the California vs. Hate hotline to report the incident by calling 833-8-NO-HATE or visit cavshate.org. They'll help you access resources and support, including legal, financial, mental health, and mediation services. California vs. Hate is not affiliated with the police, and you can report anonymously. Use your voice. Report hate by calling 833-8-NO-HATE or visit cavshate.org. Res Radio 91.3.
Sounds different, huh? This is Tavis Smiley.
As I said earlier, so many hits, so little time. We're playing the best of Marvin Gaye today. Have been playing the best of Marvin Gaye all 3 hours of our program. We celebrate June as Black Music Month, and different artists every day. We have featured some of their best contributions to the soundtracks of our lives. And today, that artist in residence has been Marvin Gaye. Back now to our conversation with Stacey Spikes, co-founder of the subscription service MoviePass. There is a powerful documentary, an arresting documentary running right now on HBO called MoviePass Movie Crash. MoviePass Movie Crash. In case you've just tuned in, we've talked about the MoviePass part, how this company with black founding came into existence. Now we talk about the movie Crash part. Again, all of this can be seen in the documentary running right now on HBO, but for the sake of this conversation, in the interest of time, Stacey, let me frame my question or form it this way. We talked earlier about your ingenious idea for MoviePass, how this thing got off the ground, what this subscription service was intended to be, how successful it was, when it took flight, all the money that you raised, $10 million initially and beyond, as this thing was going up and away, and then something happened. At some point, the story turns, and again, all of this is in the documentary, but for the sake of time, tell me about that part when things started to turn, however you define that.
Sure. We had gotten, as you said, things were going up. We were getting traction, and we were trying to do a very big deal with AMC. And last minute, the CEO ended up taking another job, and our aspirations to expand with them collapsed. And our lead investor got frustrated and said, I think we need to bring in another CEO. I was CEO at the time. I think we need to bring in another CEO. I want Mitch Lowe, and if we don't take him, I am out. And he was largely keeping the company alive till we closed this AMC deal, and we had some investors that were going to put money in if they saw the number one exhibitor in the world come in. So when that fell, that other funding fell apart. And so we were forced with that decision, and that caused a change not only in the board structure where me and my partner, there were 3 seats, myself, Hame, and Chris Kelly, our investor. And then there was suddenly a shift that it went to 5 seats. Hame and I were only 2, and then there were 3 other seats. So it shifted the board structure, and then things started to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. And by a different direction, you mean exactly what? Unpack it for me.
The decision power shifted. We no longer were completely controlling that. And so Mitch was now the CEO. I was moved to run operations. And so the melanin had changed in the room, and we had a difference of opinion about what the world view should look like, and it started us down a different path.
Yeah. Let me just in terms of transparency, I mentioned earlier that I've dealt with some VCs over the course of my career, and when I was trying to get this station in LA off the ground, trying to take flight here, I had a number of conversations with VCs who were interested in investing in me. I think with humility based on my track record of success. There are a number of VCs that came my way. Ultimately, I opted then, who knows what the future will bring, but at the time, I opted to not take VC money, no venture capital funding. And, you know, that has hurt me in some ways and helped me in other ways, I suspect. But I ultimately decided not to take VC money, in part because I did not want to surrender control. Mm-hmm. And not because I'm a control freak, although I've been called that many times in my life. Not because I'm a control freak, but because I know what I'm trying to build. I know what I'm doing. These VCs know money, but they don't know black people. They don't know radio. They don't know television. They don't know my lane. They don't know the business. They don't know how to connect the dots in the way that I know this part. Now again, I don't know money the way you know it. I don't know investing the way you do it, but I know this. So I'm happy to have you as an investor, but you cannot tell me how to build and run a black radio network. That you can't do. I know how to do this. And so I had a number of conversations, but ultimately decided not to take the VC money. I say all that in terms of full transparency, number one, but secondly, to ask you how it is, how you process, how you navigate going to work every day when you're still a part of the company, but you are no longer in control of what you created.
Yeah. You know, similar to what you were describing, you can find yourself down the path and you have a burn rate that if that suddenly gets turned off, your equity that has value is gone. It's over. And so we were already down that path. And playing in the Hollywood game is very expensive. It's just, there's no way around it. It costs a lot of money. And so everything was going to get turned off. And so we had to either play ball, and the hope was that they still had equity in the company, so there was the desire to still create value. And hey, maybe, you know, these boys can go raise money better than us, which they did, and they will proceed and our equity will grow with that. And if we need to take a back seat, fine, as long as my kid gets to go to college and I get to get my piece off the table, you know, okay. And that's kind of where we were at that point in the decision-making process.
Yep. So, as you will see in this documentary when you watch it on HBO, Movie Pass, Movie Crash, And as you heard Stacey Spikes describe moments ago, the melanin in the room has now shifted. Stacey and his partner are still a part of the company that they created, this amazing, successful subscription service, MoviePass. They're still a part of it, but they're not in control. They don't have the final say on the board. They don't have the final say in all these decisions. And what they created eventually gets twisted into something, morphs into something not like what they had in mind initially. New ownership, new direction, and that's when the story really gets interesting. You can tell we're on a collision course here now. We're about to crash, and we'll talk about that part when we come forward with Stacey Spikes on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement. Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at Metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Ready to re-examine your assumptions and expand your inventory of ideas? More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
More of Stacey Spikes, co-founder of the subscription service MoviePass, coming your way right now. Watching my time is getting away from me, Stacey. So tell me about the part that we're all interested to hear about, and that is the crash. And I should mention before you do that very quickly here, that the person that they brought in to be the CEO, the person who Mr. Lowe thought, the person that your lead investor thought needed to be in the seat had been with Netflix, had been running Netflix. So on paper, it would have appeared that he knew what he was doing when he came to run MoviePass. If I'm wrong about any of that, correct me. I'm just going on my recollection from the documentary. But tell me about the part where this thing starts to crash and burn, or burn and crash.
Yeah. So yes, you're right. He was at Redbox. He was at Netflix, and on paper really looked the part. And when he went out to market to try and raise the money to keep things going, found it challenging, but ended up getting we got a buy offer from a group called HMNY. And that group was a data company, and they made an offer that was very attractive. It still let us kind of stay in control over things. The board approved it. And the main parts of that deal were we were going to drop the price point from $30 a month to $10 a month as a promotional offer to add 100,000 new subs. We figured it would take a few months, and we ended up doing that, and we added 100,000 new subs in 48 hours. And I said, you need to turn this off because there's no way those people are ever going to be profitable. And now we had kind of two CEOs. We had Mitch, who was CEO of MoviePass, and you had Ted, who was CEO at HMNY, which is kind of now our boss because they were buying MoviePass, and it was valued at around $500 million at the time. They went and raised $250 million in capital, and were off to the races. And for Jaime and I, we kind of are like, okay, maybe this thing will work out. There's a lot of valuation, but we were locked up as founders for 12 months. And inside of 12 months, they went through $250 million, bankrupted the company, and went out of business.
Wow. Yeah, it's all of it. This is just Stacy. Thankfully, has agreed to appear on this program because I asked him to just talk about the documentary, and we're just top lining stuff for you. So he's giving you in short order, but all of this can be seen with greater detail. A much more granular story being told in the actual documentary. It's on HBO right now. It's called MoviePass, Movie Crash. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Stacy Spikes, I want to talk about the rebound, as it were, because MoviePass is back. And I celebrate and uplift Stacy for his courage, his conviction, his commitment, and his character, frankly. And to hold on to his vision to bring this thing back is not an easy thing to do. We'll talk about that part when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Our city's hottest weeks of summer are approaching. If you're 60 or older, you're at risk of heat stroke or worse. Extreme heat can kill. That's why KBLA Talk 1580, as part of our year-long climate justice campaign, has partnered with the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and the LA City Department of Aging for LADWP's Powered by Equity event, Heat Relief for Seniors Resource Fair. Join fellow LA seniors who hope to beat the heat and stay safe on Monday, July 15th, 10 a.m. at the Watts Labor Community Action Center in South Los Angeles. Learn about LADWP's Easy Save and Level Pay programs programs to help lower your monthly electric bill. And there will be tips and resources to be ready and safe in the heat. LADWP customers 60 years or older will be eligible to receive a portable air conditioner while supplies last. Personal ID and your LADWP bill are required. Contact your LA Department of Aging Neighborhood Senior Center for Cool LA Heat Relief for Seniors participation details, or visit www.ladwp.com/events.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys. Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and Sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is grab the keys. That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse Limited models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Who do you trust to get at the truth? Tavis Smiley. That's who. The conversation continues right now.
All right, Smiley and Spikes. That might be that's a good name for a show one day. Stacey's
there you go.
Smiley and Spikes, or I shouldn't be so arrogant. Spikes and Smiley. Spikes and Smiley. As long as the spikes aren't in Smiley, I don't want to feel that. But I digress on that point. Stacey Spikes is co-founder of subscription service Movie Pass. Pleased to have had him on for this hour. We got 3 minutes left here. The documentary on HBO, which you can watch for yourself and to see all the stuff that we couldn't get into. We just ran through this quickly in this hour, sort of top line what this story is all about. But it's ultimately about corporate accountability and beyond. It's called Movie Pass, Movie Crash. Again, you can check it out on HBO even as we speak. In these last 3 minutes, though, Stacey, I want to turn the corner, as you have turned the corner, because Movie Pass is back. Tell me about that part and how we can be supportive this time around.
Yeah, so the documentary came around. You had me on the last time my book had come out, and the documentary book was Black Founder, and they optioned my story to make it into a documentary. And when we were shooting it, the movie didn't have the ending that we got the company back, but we found out in the middle of shooting that no one had bidded for the assets, and I put in a bid. We got it back, and we ended up buying it back for $140,000, and put the company back up. In 2023 was the first profitable year. We had a 23% profit margin. So if you want to go back and have a subscription service to see movies in theaters, it's up. You just go to MoviePass.com or go download the MoviePass app in the App Store, and you can sign up. There's different tiers that you can use, and you'll save around 30% going to the movies if that's something you love to do.
LL said, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, so I'm not going to call it a comeback. But you are back online, and with all the drama that you've had to endure, how does it feel?
And I feel blessed. It's beautiful. I know there's no way that if God didn't align those things that way for that to happen. The fact that HBO would spend money on this story, they hired Muta Ali, the director, and felt telling a Black-founded story about MoviePass was very important. And I really want to thank Mark Wahlberg's company for leaning in and saying we want to option this story because we think this is an American story that needs to be told.
It is told, and told quite well. You will not be disappointed tonight, tomorrow, over the weekend if you tap into HBO and watch this documentary, Movie Pass, Movie Crash. I can assure you of that. Stacy Spikes, I don't want to sound paternalistic here, but I am extremely proud of you. As I said earlier, your commitment to bring your company back online is a thing of splendor and wonder. I celebrate you, and I thank you for this conversation once again.
Tavis, thank you so much.
Good to have you on this program. Tomorrow is Friday. Don't forget the big debate tonight. If you're in L.A., on our home station, KBLA Talk for 1080, we're broadcasting the audio live tonight at 6. And we'll take your phone calls at 7:30 right after in L.A., that is. Around the rest of the country, I'm sure people will be tuning in where they are. Until tomorrow, the best of Tavis Smiley. Thanks for tuning in to this program. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The U.S. Supreme Court is issuing more opinions both today and tomorrow, with some major decisions still set to come out before the end of the month. Among them are a ruling on former President Trump's claim that he is immune from prosecution for alleged crimes committed while in office. Meanwhile, it appears the Supreme Court is leaning towards allowing emergency abortions. Washington, D.C.'s mayor is asking community members for help to reduce violence and make the city safer this summer. African-American Mayor Muriel Bowser spoke yesterday